All right, let's get right into it. If you're using Burp Suite in Kali with an external browser, then this is definitely for you. We're going to talk about a really simple but powerful workflow upgrade that's going to save you from some massive headaches. It's called the Client Capsule. And trust me, this one little change is the difference between a clean, professional engagement and a total mess you created yourself.
I just love this quote because, come on, who hasn't been there? You get that sinking feeling when something's just acting weird. You spend an hour pulling your hair out, and then you realize the ghost in the machine, well, it was you all along. This whole workflow is designed to stop that exact moment from ever happening again.
Right? It's the classic story. You think, oh, I'll just check this one little thing really quick, and that 1 minute of convenience somehow turns into 60 minutes of frantic cleanup, documenting, and just trying to prove you didn't break anything. It is a terrible trade-off.
Now here's what's so interesting. Most of these burp setup problems, they're not really technical. They're human. We're under pressure, we take a shortcut, we forget which browser is for which client, and that creates this nasty problem called session bleed, where all your cookies and logins from one client start leaking into another. It's just chaos.
And that chaos, it has a real cost. I heard this story about a tester who was working on 2 clients that used the same identity provider. He reused a browser profile just for a minute, and bam! Suddenly the second client's app was acting like he was already logged in. The optics were horrible, it looked like cross-client data access. It took an hour to prove nothing bad actually happened. That's a whole billable hour, completely down the drain.
So, how do we fix this mess? We need something better, something professional. So let's build a client capsule. It's a simple, elegant system to make sure every single engagement is clean, totally isolated, and defensible.
Okay, so what is a client capsule? It's really just a dedicated browser profile for a single client. But the key, the real magic, is the mindset. You have to treat it like a sealed evidence bag. Everything inside is for that one engagement, and that's it. It's labeled, its scope is locked down, and when you're done, you seal it shut. That metaphor alone is incredibly powerful for keeping yourself disciplined. And when you think that way, you get 3 huge wins. First, your sessions are completely isolated. No more cookie problems. Second, your Trust for Burp certificate is scoped only to that one profile, not your whole system, which is a massive security improvement. And third, all your evidence, every screenshot, is perfectly clean and tied to one single context. Now, a quick operator tip. You gotta label these capsules properly. Use a consistent, descriptive naming scheme, something like client-yymm-app. So for example, Acme 2512 portal. I know it sounds a little fussy, but trust me, a week later when you're trying to find your artifacts, you'll be so glad you did this. Okay, you ready to actually build one? This isn't some big, complicated thing. You can have your very first client capsule up and running in just a couple of minutes. It's just 3 simple steps. Step 1, create the profile itself. Just pop open a terminal in Kali and run Firefox-P. That'll bring up the profile manager. From there, you just create a new profile and give it that specific name we just talked about. Oh, and seriously, do that pro tip. Make a template profile with all your settings ready to go. It's a huge time saver. Step 2, let's wire it up. First, just make sure your burp listener is running, and ideally on 127.0.0.1:8080. Using the loopback address is just safer. It keeps all that proxy traffic right there on your local machine. Then, inside your new Firefox profile, you just hop into the connection settings and point the HTTP proxy right to that address and port. Simple as that. Okay, step 3. This is the big one, the trust step. You need to export Burp's CA certificate. And please, do yourself a favor and name it clearly so you don't have a folder with 10 files all named cassert.der. Then, and this is the most important part, you import that certificate into the authorities section inside that specific Firefox profile, not your system-wide store. Check the box to trust it, and you are good to go. So now the capsule is built. But the technical setup is the easy part. The real goal here is to turn this into an automatic professional habit, a ritual really. This is how you stop mistakes from ever even getting a chance to happen. And this, right here, is the core of that habit, the 2-request litmus test. Before you do anything else, just visit a plain old HTTP site. Does it pop up in Burp? Great, your proxy is routed correctly. Then, visit an HTTPS site. Does it load without any scary security warnings? Perfect. Your certificate trust is working. This one tiny check catches like 80% of all setup problems.
So your daily workflow just becomes beautifully simple. At the start of the day, you launch the correct profile and run your 2-request test. During testing, you tie all of your notes and screenshots back to that profile's name, so you have a clean evidence trail. And at the end of the day, you export what you need and you close the capsule. No mess, no loose ends.
So when should you use this instead of Burp's built-in browser? Well, think of it this way. Burp's browser is awesome for quick, disposable stuff, a quick check, a demo. But if you need to manage logins, maintain state, or guarantee clean evidence for an actual client engagement, the external client capsule is the professional's choice every single time.
And what happens when HTTPS inevitably breaks? Don't panic, just climb this little diagnosis ladder. If you see nothing in Burp, it's a proxy issue. If you get a big, scary trust error, it's a certificate issue. If the site is just acting weird, it's probably caching. Just nuke it and start a fresh profile. And hey, if it only fails on certain domains, that could be certificate pinning, which isn't a failure, that's a finding.
Let's bring this all home. Why does this simple little bit of discipline matter so much? Because it helps you avoid the common, costly, and sometimes career-damaging mistakes that even really good professionals make when they're in a hurry. This whole workflow prevents the 4 cardinal sins of browser hygiene. It stops you from reusing profiles and causing that session bleed. It stops you from installing the Burp CA system-wide, which is just a bad idea. It makes sure you don't forget to turn off your proxy. And it keeps all your client stuff, bookmarks, passwords, everything cleanly separated. And this chart just says it all, doesn't it? You can spend an hour cleaning up a tangled mess that you caused in a moment of carelessness, or you can invest 1 minute at the start of your day on a ritual that prevents the mess from ever happening. The choice is pretty clear. So, the main takeaway is this. Plain and simple, a 1-minute ritual prevents a 1-hour cleanup. That's the whole philosophy. It's about being deliberate and systematic up front so you can be creative and effective when it really matters.
And that brings us to the final question. And this one's for you to think about. Take a good, honest look at how you work right now. Is your browser setup an asset that helps you be professional and clean and efficient? Or is it a liability, a ticking time bomb just waiting to cost you an hour of your life, or maybe even worse? Something to think about.